Hello, my name is Dr. Marian Diaz, and I'm the director of the Thriving in Ministry initiative at Catholic Theological Union. I wanted to talk to you today about what I see as the most important element for any person to be thriving in ministry. And that element is really the element of prayer and the relationship with God. Now, when I spoke briefly about what does it mean to thrive in ministry in the introductory video, I kind of posed this paradox that we experience in ministry, that we have all this positive meaning and significance and energy and drive to just really do what we want to do on behalf of the gospel and God's people. And on the other hand, we are bumping up daily against limitations of just time and perhaps finances and budgets, and even our own energy levels. Sometimes we're running up against areas where we might have conflict in our ministerial settings. And so we want to think about how do we navigate and try to channel that positive energy and that mission and vision into the daily work of what ministry entails. And what I have found in my own life, and really what the research to this point shows, is that for most people, what really helps support them in ministry and sustaining a ministry for the long haul are consistent prayer practices and deep, meaningful connection with God. And so I want to talk to you today about a few things to think about along these lines. First of all, it's a good time to just sort of step back and take stock. How is your prayer life? How are you feeling about your relationship with God? How are you feeling about yourself and some of those interior emotions that you're going through? In later videos, we'll kind of explore some of these things in more depth. But I want to just step back now and ask you to really consider to take time to open up perhaps your sense of what it means to pray, to consider how you might want to bring more and more of your daily experiences to prayer. Think about it. Is there any part of your life that you don't bring to God in prayer? What would it be like if you did start offering those concerns to God in prayer? Now, you might have different sort of experiences of prayer and what you sort of count as prayer. And one of the things we do in the Thriving Today program is we really encourage people to have some form of a centering or contemplative practice. Now, those practices you may have seen promoted in a Catholic setting by someone like Thomas Keating. I would also recommend perhaps looking at a book that could open up or expand your notion of prayer. The book we use for Thriving in Ministry is entitled Praying Your Experiences by Joseph Schmidt. So there are a lot of other sources out there, but think about times during the day where you can just stop and pause and really connect with God in a meaningful way and listen, right? You have to sort of quiet yourself so that you'll have that capacity to listen and notice and become more and more aware of what's going on. It's going to help you become more self-aware, and it's going to help you as you work in interacting with a variety of different people in your ministry. So the last thing that I want you to think about regarding this is really how that presence of God and the Spirit of God within you becomes something that's there all the time. For me, in my story, it's kind of a strange story, I think, but I taught myself to read at a very young age. And so I was reading whatever I could get my hands on, and that did include the Bible. And so from a relatively young age, one of the things I puzzled over in the New Testament was Paul's call to pray without ceasing. And I'm still unpacking what that means in my life. But part of what it means is that at any moment when I stop, I ask myself, I can just step back and connect with the Spirit of God within me. And maybe it's silent. Maybe there is something I'm uttering. Maybe I am processing with God some experience that I'm going through. But that capacity is always there. And that really, your capacity to tap into that and to know that that gift of really God's presence within you and God's love within you is there all the time. So I really encourage you to take the time to read other sources, consider your own prayer life. And this for me is the linchpin that helps us navigate those daily tensions. This is what gets us through and helps transform our disciplines and our practices into what is a rich, full, meaningful life. And so as you're doing this and as you go along and as I'm kind of contributing more and more content here to Thriving in Ministry, I just really want you always to sort of come back to this. This should be that first point. When things start to go wrong, come back here. Make this your starting point. Your relationship with God, your practices of prayer, and your ability to have some sense, belief, of the experience of God's life working within you and through you. And so, again, I really just wish you all the best on your journey to thriving in ministry. Have a great day.